Yeah, well, Erasmus Plus is a new program for education, training and youth. So in fact, many participants can join, so youth, young people, staff, students, universities, groups of volunteers, such like, and the novelty of the program now is in fact that it's open to the world. So a number of actions are in fact open to participation from our partner countries around the world. Rather than sort of differentiating according to a region, the actions are all either related to mobility, related to cooperation and capacity building, or related to policy reforms. So depending on sort of the target of the action, then it'll be under one or the other pillar. So for instance, under the capacity building action, it'll be possible for universities to cooperate together, universities from across the world. We have two types of projects, so joint projects that are more focusing on modernising universities in our partner countries, and we have structural projects where there we're looking more at reforming systems, modernising systems, quality in higher education, harmonisation of systems in different partner countries. What's important is that university collaboration is global, and we don't want to be leaving behind part of the universities in the world. They really need to have access to knowledge, they need to have access to partnerships and collaboration. And our universities in Europe, that's part of the mission of a university, is to go into those partnerships and both for two points of view, with the view of supporting the partner country, but also with the view of getting of the benefits that such a collaboration can also bring home.
The development priorities of Erasmus Plus must coincide, of course, first of all, with our development priorities. In our new program, the umbrella policy is the agenda for change. So with a greater focus on low-income countries and a higher concentration of resources on fewer countries that need this critical mass of investment. The second biggest priority is to make sure that the Erasmus Plus addresses equity concerns. And when I say equity, I mean equity at the level of countries, at the level of institutions, and at the level of people. And let me explain. At the level of countries, we see very often that the emerging countries like South Africa, like India, are more competitive, and rightly so. But we must also provide countries with weaker institutions and a lower level of development to also have access to Erasmus Plus. Similarly, in terms of institutions, and finally, very much in line with our development objectives, we must provide the opportunity of access to marginalized people, ethnic minorities, poor, disabled people, so that they also have, and it needs a particular attention to allow these groups to have better access to Erasmus+.
Well, it's catered for at the start at the information stage. So we've been organising a lot of information campaigns, both in the EU but also in our partner countries. And we've really asked the universities to reach out to groups of students who normally wouldn't have access or wouldn't have the possibility of going on mobility abroad. We also encourage universities to include disabled students, and in fact there's also the possibility of additional funding if there are particular needs for supporting the mobility in that case. So a lot of sort of information at the beginning, and then we're setting up the mechanisms, monitoring mechanisms, to be able to see exactly how the universities are responding to that, and if we need to, sort of give an extra push at a second stage.
So our delegations have a very important role in Erasmus+. They're really the front line. Yeah? They're in the field and they're strategic because of their knowledge of the specific country context. So they will use this knowledge to promote the Erasmus+ in their countries, amongst the institutions, create a good flow of information, both towards these institutions, so inform them about the opportunities available under Erasmus+, and feedback sometimes information from these institutions to headquarters. They will also have a very important role in terms of monitoring. So during we need to ensure that Erasmus+ will be responding to our development priorities, and so we very much count on our staff in EU delegations to let us know of any problems we encounter during the implementation. We're also creating a group, capacity for dev, information group that will provide a platform for exchange of information amongst delegations and also a dissemination of best practices.
Well, an example is for the capacity building, for instance. In the capacity building action, we've established either national or regional priority areas for the programs. They can be changed, for instance, over a 2-year period. They reflect very much the top priorities of the countries concerned. So, for instance, the countries will have chosen certain disciplines which they want universities to work together on, but also different areas of reform. So, for instance, they might have chosen to build up quality assurance practices, or they might have chosen to build up links with enterprises, or to work on teacher training, and they're given sort of a palette, a choice of priority areas to choose from, and they've been all been published on the website, on the Erasmus+ website. So partnerships know exactly, what areas they should be focusing on in a given partner country of the world.